Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 183 today for the Japanese Grand Prix in Season 7. If you guys did miss the previous one, then be sure to check that one out before you see this one. I don't really know what's happened with YouTube lately in the last few days. The sub boxes and the publishing has been very, very weird, and I feel like not a lot of you actually got to see those two previous career mode videos, maybe in your subscription feed or homepage or whatever, so be sure to check those out. There'll be a link in the top right annotation to see the playlist there. But yeah, going into the Japanese Grand Prix then, another crucial race. Obviously, I think all of these races now are crucial, as the title fight is pretty much crunch time now. There's only 5 episodes left of this season. It's a battle between myself and Pierre Gasly. Gasly's in the faster car, and I'm in the slower one, and basically it's up to us to try and stop his momentum. We've done that pretty well in the last 2 episodes. We won the Singapore Grand Prix. We managed to, upset him a little bit and, managed to score some points on him. But today, Japanese Grand Prix, it's a new race, so everything gets reset again, and we go again to try and do that job once more. You can see everyone has stayed the same in the performance chart. Everyone's plateaued. So I assume now is maybe the part of the season where every team is going to start saving resource points to do the R&D reset. We saw a lot earlier in the season at the Hungarian Grand Prix around then. The R&D reset is going to reset the chassis, the aerodynamics, and the reliability of the cars going forward into Season 8. And so now I think most teams will start to save up their resource points to do those alterations and try and save as much as they can of the car. I would be surprised if any of those top teams still have upgrades to even make, and if they do, I'll be surprised if they even bother doing them at this late stage of the season, because we're now getting to the point where not much is going to actually change in the championships apart from myself and Gasly, and maybe the top 3 constructors between Red Bull, Renault, and us at Alfa, Romeo, Sauber. So we'll see about that and how everything shapes up then. We're going to go into Q1 then. Overcast conditions so far, but there isn't going to be any rain for this weekend. At least the forecast doesn't say that, so we'll see how things shape up. But at least in Q1, it was just kind of gloomy conditions, so a little bit depressing, but that's fine. Won't dampen our spirits across the line, and we do make it through into Q2, thankfully. They're very well matched, actually, against Leclerc, so that was quite positive for me to match Leclerc like that, but also our car was a little bit off the pace, of course, of the Mercedes and the Red Bull, so I think, again, it's gonna be another struggle here. We're gonna have to try and do something clever once more in the strategy, I think, when it comes to the race time, which might be difficult, because Suzuka now, I think every car's got the tyre wear upgrades to the point where it might just be a simple one-stop, so I'm not too sure. We're going to have to really try and pull out all the stops in qualifying to make sure we're as high up the grid as possible. I can bet you Gasly will be on the money and he'll be right up there at the sharp end here, so we can't really miss a beat. And so if we fly through here, the car actually feeling pretty damn stable through Sector 2, actually. The best it's actually felt in a while, I should say. So even though I'm not too confident about the performance against the other teams, the car actually felt good, though. So at least in the race, maybe that means I'm going to feel comfortable and might be able to do something clever in the strategy there. In Q2, I actually go fastest of all, which was very good for me. And Leclerc actually just only made it into P10. So that was very odd for me to gain so much time on Leclerc. And so we'll see how we went into Q3. It's now a little bit sunnier. And let's see if we can carry forward that pace into this top 10 shootout as we now go for our first run. We have enough tyres though to do 2 runs, so we're going to do this first run on this brand new set, and then we'll use another brand new set for the second run. Thankfully, obviously that's the perk of getting through into Q2 and then subsequently Q3 on only 1 set of super soft tyres. We have the 2 to run with there. A little bit of a mistake at the hairpin there on the curb, got a little bit of oversteer there, so I might have lost a tiny bit of time, but it shouldn't be too much as we go down through to the last corner, try and get the power down as early as possible. Very awkward always through that corner. The AI definitely have an advantage to that last corner on me in terms of traction acceleration there, but for now we set a time which wasn't actually that fast. P8 behind Carlos Sainz, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren there. I don't know where my teammate is at the moment. I think Leclerc has outqualified me for now, so we have to really quite improve quite a fair bit. Already do that through Sector 1. We're getting quite a fair bit on the exit of the first turn. That was definitely an area I lost a lot of time, and through to the last corner and the last straight, getting a heap of time there, and that is going to shoot us up into 3rd place, and Leclerc actually is down in P10. He's had a bit of a nightmare there. He clearly has had an issue. The amount of time he is off 9th place man Carlos Sainz, I would suggest Leclerc got a mistake maybe on both his laps, because that is just really a slow time, quite shockingly slow. And for us there, I think we've outdriven the car a little bit to be up in P3, but still fantastic job for us. But unfortunately, you can see there, Gasly does the job in the Honda-powered Red Bull, obviously at the Honda Japanese Grand Prix. He would do, hopefully, but our main rival once again on pole position. Like I said, it's going to be a real tough battle to end this championship to get this, because Gasly just seems like the most consistent driver at the moment. His AI, I don't know what's happened. I guess if he's in a championship fight, he's just kicked into higher gear, and he's so concentrated. So we're going to have to really try hard in the race, and once again, go again to try and upset him and do something clever to try and jump him in this Grand Prix. Let's go to the grid and find out.
We're We're live today from the Mie Prefecture of Japan as we look forward to the Japanese Grand Prix. The 2015 race here was one of only 5 Grand Prix in history to feature no retirements at all. Although with the highly competitive field we have today, I don't expect we'll be repeating that stat anytime soon. We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Now I want to ask you about Stoffel van Dorn. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
So let's have a look at the starting grid then ahead this Japanese Grand Prix for Season 8 of my F1 2018 career mode. On pole position is my main championship rival Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull Honda on pole position. Surprise, surprise, with Lewis Hamilton in second place on the front row. Then the second row is myself and Max Verstappen, my former teammate from Red Bull. Nico Hülkenberg in P5 with Fernando Alonso P6. Ocon and Ricciardo next in P7 and 8 with Carlos Sainz in 9th and my teammate Leclerc in 10th place. Van Dorn and Raikkonen just outside the top 10 with Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel next. The next row is all Haas, then all William, and then the final row is safe for Sergio Perez and Brendan Hartley, both of which have grid penalties ahead of this Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. And so here we are to go again to try and battle against Pierre Gasly and somehow again try and overtake him. He is in first place, right ahead of us on the grid. We're in P3. We've done a pretty good job, I think, of dragging this car up here to P3, but I'm not too sure about this race because it is going to be a pretty simple one-stop, super soft to the mediums, and I just don't think anyone else is really going to bother with a two-stop, really. So I think most of us are going to pull off this one-stop, and so it will be quite difficult to make a move. I'm kind of hoping in this opening lap maybe that Mercedes or Hamilton can try and get in the lead and maybe push down Gasly to second, and then I have some sort of chance to maybe get Gasly on the back straight on the opening lap. But after that, it is going to be very, very tricky. But as always, we try our best, never give up, never say never in Formula 1. And so we go down the fuel once again, and we try and go into this race with a positive mindset. Let's go and get this championship lead as we go to 5 red lights to the Japanese Grand Prix here. Another crucial race in the championship. 4 lights are out, and we're underway. And it is a good start for Hamilton. Hamilton is going to take P1 at the Japanese Grand Prix. Gasly down to second place. We're going to go into turn 1 in P3 there. Cars to my right. And then we've been tapped. We've been tapped off the circuit there. We've got so much momentum going into turn 1. We couldn't even slow the thing down. And I just freeze frame there and let the car roll through the gravel trap because I didn't want to try anything clever, as we might have slammed it into the wall and broken off our wheel or front wing. Thankfully, the car is completely intact. But we're now down to last place in this Grand Prix. This is an absolute disaster and a calamity in a race where we didn't need it. We needed to be overtaking Gasly, not going off circuit and being down to last place. So now we've got it all to do. We've got a mountain to climb, and it's all because of contact at turn 1. Let's look at a replay then and see what went on. Obviously, Hamilton with the electric start there, and obviously Frenchman gets a lot of wheel spin. Gasly on the right-hand side of your screen there in the Red Bull Honda. We tuck in, trying to get some slipstream from him into turn 1 though, as we have a bit of a screen freeze there watching about the replay. But that is Max Verstappen who tapped our rear end actually, so that is very controversial. Gasly's teammate, the other Red Bull Honda, Verstappen, taps me. My former teammate, the one I beat to the championship when we were both in Red Bull Honda last season, has tapped me off, and that was quite a hefty punt. And because I was not braking yet, because for turn 1 you don't brake at that moment in circuit, you just kind of let the car roll through, then you start braking once you're kind of halfway down that hill. And so I wasn't ready to even slow the car down, so getting tapped like that, my car just speared straight towards the wall there. And in that case, I was more concentrating on trying to not have the car go into the wall, and thankfully the gravel trap helped me somewhat, but still not exactly what you want. And so that's going to be a horrendous recovery drive to try and make it. We have to do it though, so we're going to get going then as we move on to lap number 2, and we have to, basically start this comeback drive now. We've fallen a little bit away from P19 through that first lap actually, so I have to try and catch back up there. There's a bit of a train, so we might be able to catch up, and there's yellow flags. Actually, the Toro Rosso is off there. Van Dorn, I think, actually did hit us there on the rear end, so we're actually quite lucky to come away with no scratches there. Otherwise, that could have been a crash in itself as we now make a huge dive bomb on on Brent Hartley there. Super soft tyres versus the soft tyres that the Kiwi man is on. So I don't know why a lot of these guys are on soft tyres, because the tyre wear, like I said, should be good enough to pull off a one-stop, even from super softs, but obviously each to their own. And so here we go now, making a very tasty move on the outside to the inside of Perez. Sparks flying there literally as we make some contact on the front wing to the tyre there, but that needed to be done. And the AI, for some reason, they just don't give you the room when you're in the inside there, so you have to kind of get your elbows out a little bit. And then down the inside of 130R, that's a simpler move done on Sergei Sorokin. So already up into P16 by the time we get to lap 5. So making some decent progress. We need to make a bit more as we now go around the outside of the second Williams car. Lance Stroll, very nice on the outside of turn 1. Can't quite do it though. We have to wait for the S section and try and play around with him and try and play around with our car. And the momentum shift, trying to shift it around to the right hand side of the circuit. Now to the inside there. It's so close. Another bit of contact there. We really are getting our car in the wars today. We get the elbows out, but for good reason. As now, oh my god, as now Vettel has just been sent into the wall there at 130. I suspect Vettel was trying to overtake one of these cars, and he got some contact on the inside there. So it really is a bloodbath here at Suzuka so far. Van Dorn off, Vettel off, I was off, and then I've been making contact with every single car I'm trying to overtake here, because obviously it's very desperate times. And I know people are going to say it's a bit maybe too over-aggressive, but, some of these cars are just too slow. And also the AI around Suzuka, I feel, in my opinion, don't give you enough room anyway when you're side-by-side through some of these corners. Albeit, in real life, you don't usually go side-by-side in these corners. But in the game, if I can make it work, I'm going to try and do it. And so, again, down the inside of Grosjean there, a little tap on the tyre, but we get it done. And we're up into P13. Obviously, this is a championship fight. We can't play nice. We can't play friendly. We have to get the moves done. And so here we go now, trying to overtake the other Haas then of Magnussen, my very first teammate in Formula 1 here in Season 1 and 2. Round the outside we go, and we're up the order to P12, and we'll soon catch up to Valtteri Bottas now on lap 7. So 20 laps to go. We're probably going to pit around maybe lap 10, I would say. So still got some way to go. The tyres are feeling pretty damn good anyway. And so here we go, closing right up to the fin in the Force India there. Can we make a move on the outside? Maybe yellow flags behind us for some reason there. And we lock up badly on the front right tyre. Bottas locks up, and the full safety car has been called out. So we're going to duck in now to the pit. It's a blessing in disguise maybe, because we can make a free pit stop now. And so effectively we won't make a pit stop in kind of normal green conditions, because this is our one and only pit stop onto medium tyres. So this just might be the thing that brings us right back into this Grand Prix, because obviously we'll go onto mediums, have essentially a free pit stop. I mean, obviously a lot of people behind me are going to ultimately make the same pit stop under the safety car, but I might catch some time up on some guys up ahead, and then everyone's going to bunch up. So that's going to be the major thing. The fact we're going to be all so close together again and not spread out like this is going to help me get back in this Grand Prix. So thank you very much. I think there was a crash behind us at 130R, I think. So I think another similar situation to what Vettel had. So thank you very much to that. And so now we can go and get ready for the green flag to come out then, and for us to get going once again for racing here at Suzuka on lap number 10 this is. So 3 laps later, so quite a long safety car period. So now the race leader will become the effective safety car, and we're going to have a bit of an awkward moment here when we accelerate. I'm not too sure when we're going to go. I think now is about the time we lock up a little bit, trying to make sure we don't hit the back of Bottas, but now we are going, so a bit awkward there. I think I missed the timing just by a little bit, because Bottas has got away from us, and Ricciardo's managed to get right up our gearbox there. So we're going to have to wait till later on in that lap now as we go through the spoon curves, then trying to get this lined up as best we can, but get too early on the power and go a little bit wide, tyre on the grass, and Ricciardo shoots past us there. He's on super soft, to be fair, so he's on 2 softer compounds than I am. So Ricciardo is trying a very aggressive 2-stop then, I would say. The same can be said of Sergio Perez behind me, so swamped completely by the Aussie man. I was very taken aback by that. And so we go through the last 2 corners then, have to try and catch up back up to a second car now, and again losing some time on the exit. Here, obviously, the traction is already poor compared to AI anyway, let alone medium versus super soft tyres, and Perez now is going to have a go down the inside. We have to try and play a bit of chicken with him into turn 1. Yellow flags up ahead as a car is off there on the outside. It's Lance Stroll, and around the outside we go of Perez to maintain that position. So we're back up 1 more position effectively, because we got handed that by Lance Stroll, but still we need to try and get this place back on Ricciardo. He's going very slow behind Bottas, so now can we try and feed this through on the outside there, do what we did earlier on the Grand Prix, get the elbow out, tapping the sidewall of the tyre. Perez, no, Bottas, I should say, going off there a little bit wide, and so he's maybe made a mistake, and so now we dive down inside of him to the hairpin. So 2 very nice overtakes in the span of half a lap there to get up into P14. So initially the super softs on both those guys, Bottas and Ricciardo, doing better, but now getting in the groove, and now maybe my car is starting to heat up a little bit. So now go for an overtake on Kimi Raikkonen, as some people have entered the pit lane now, so that's why we're up into P10. So this is what I'm saying, that safety car has helped us massively, because a lot of these guys have yet to make pit stops, including, I think, the top guys haven't made pit stops yet, as they're all still on super softs. This is Gasly now in second place. Hamilton, who started the lead all since lap 1, but now this is crucial for the championship and pretty important for me. Gasly is up in the lead of the race now, as Hamilton's down to P2, Verstappen P3, and so that's a little bit worrying now, because if Gasly wins this Grand Prix and I come down in whatever the case is in lower points, he's going to get a massive swing of points. But here we come now, down the straight. We are ahead of Pierre Gasly in this Grand Prix now. He's onto a set of soft tyres though, so I'm not too sure if maybe he did pit under the safety car and maybe just pit onto another set of super softs. Either way, we're in the lead now, all because of the safety car pretty much helping us out and letting us jump Gasly. But now he's going to have massive amount of pace, and so as we move to the end of lap 16 on towards lap 17, 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. But Gasly right up our chuff there. He's absolutely got the acceleration on point through the last corner. He's on the left hand side. I've got defensive there, but I literally can't do much. He's got DRS and that Honda power pushes him through, and he's past us into turn 1. I try and desperately keep up with him into turn 1 on the exit there, but straight away you can just tell the difference there on the exit. He's got the grip, he's got the faster tyres, the fresher tyres, the better car, and there's just no way I can actually catch him and try and re-overtake him basically. And so as we go down the main straight, we're up into P2. Gasly retakes the lead there. It's finally the last people who made their pit stops. We're in second place though, so the safety car did do bits for us, and we've done a great recovery anyway, because remember, we were in last place at this exact point on the first lap of the Grand Prix, so I can't complain of being up in second place. But I mean, it was just so harsh to get ahead of Gasly, and for him to actually overtake us on track like that was so frustrating. And then here comes his teammate Verstappen. The two Red Bull Hondas are really flexing the muscles here for their engine suppliers home Grand Prix, obviously the Honda Japanese Grand Prix. Verstappen round the outside there of 130. It's a fantastic, beautiful move, to be fair, from my old teammate there. He even blocks me off into the chicane because he went deep on purpose, I think, because I tried to follow him through and he just brake checked me in the middle of the chicane there, and so Verstappen gets me and there's nothing I could do. I tried my best to keep it on the inside there, but he just had the grit, and we had to actually face off and defend against Ocon quite harshly into turn 1, because that Toro Rosso, Honda powered as well, surprise surprise, is also trying to attack me. So the 3 Honda powered cars up here are trying to do some work to get an all Honda podium, but I'm going to try and hopefully deny that. But again, like Gasly, there's just no way I can keep up with Verstappen in the corners there. I like to, I'm honestly pushing as hard as I can, but the car just doesn't have the pace now. In a race like this, it is so clear to see that I'm very much in the inferior car, and this is such an uphill battle to try and fight in the championship against Gasly here. It's massively frustrating, and it's going to continue here as we move on to the dying stages of this Grand Prix now, and Sainz and Hülkenberg are all over the back of me there. Sainz in P4, Hülkenberg P5. They're both overtaking Ocon, and Ocon's dropped off massively in the Toro Rosso car. But here goes Carlos Sainz and the Spaniard in the Renault on the right-hand side. We defend and squeeze him to the right, but Hülkenberg's also there on the left-hand side, so it's going to be 3-1 nearly into turn 1. Oh my god, Hülkenberg overtook Sainz, but in doing so tapped Carlos Sainz into turn 1, and Sainz nearly had a half spin in turn 1 and nearly took me out there. So that could have been an even bigger disaster if I went out the Grand Prix after all of this, all the recovery drive. Having to go out the Grand Prix like that would have been very, very annoying indeed. So at least we'll finish up in P4, but really frustrating because Hülkenberg gets us in the end as well, and so we're not even on the podium here. We have to finish up in P4. Gasly has won the Grand Prix. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull Honda at the Honda Japanese Grand Prix, so fair play. You know, they've done the job. They're the fastest cars out there, but I'm just left scratching my head like, what on earth do I have to do now? I feel like this is a big punch and blow to our championship here, because the Red Bull car's just so quick, and it was just so on pace here. I just don't know if we can do it now, but we finish up in P4. I've got to be happy about that, to be fair, guys, because I was in last place by the exit of turn 1 on lap 1, so I still got to be happy about that.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. that's exactly what happened today.
So GG's to the Red Bull gang and Gasly in first place there. Obviously, the better man won, the better team won there today, and unfortunately we just couldn't do it, and so it's another blow. You know, we took 2 steps forward in the last 2 episodes, and now we've taken like 3 steps backwards because of the points we lost there. First place to 4th, big blow, and now we have to do all the work again and basically repeat what we did in the last 2 races. We want to try and get back at Gasly, and then, you know, the next couple of races to the end of the season are difficult ones. Like, historically, these last few races are very good for the AI. Usually the AI are quite OP at places like USA and also Brazil, so it's going to be a real tough fight, tough one. Constructors-wise, also, Red Bull swing all the way into a massive advantage now in the Constructors there. We're down to 2nd place, and so I actually jinxed myself, because I think our last episode, or 2 episodes ago, I almost talked about having a comfortable, maybe, feeling about the Constructors, but now that's definitely not the case, and me and Leclerc are going to have to hope for some miracles. We're going to try and get Alfa Romeo Sauber back on the top set for the Constructors as well, so it's a big fight in both standings-wise, so... yeah, it's frustrating. Like I said, you know, I bang on about it a lot in this season so far, but it's just because it's so true. You know, if you don't go forward in Formula 1s, you are going backwards, and we have just been going backwards and backwards every single race because everyone else has just improved so much because of their upgrades, and our car was maxed out so short into the season. But either way, guys, it was still nonetheless a very enjoyable race. I mean, it was a frustrating one at the beginning, but then, you know, really good to have that comeback drive and get back at the P4, last to P4. I'll take that. So, guys, if you did enjoy that as well, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, to subscribe for weekly Formula content. I've been Alpha. Hope you enjoyed the day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.